Welcome back, everyone! This is Jeronitis bringing you Feed the Beast 1.6. Today we are starting on episode 109. 109. Getting close to the end here, I just feel it. I'm running out of things to do, but I'm not out yet. I'm going to do the proper start of Pneumaticraft. At the end of the last episode, I kind of played with the seeds a little bit. I've determined that the seeds are way too much of a pain in the butt to deal with, and I will get them as necessary. And I did realize that the fire flower seeds are actually really easy to harvest. A vacuum hopper, when they spit their thing up, the vacuum hopper catches most of them. If it doesn't catch them, then they land somewhere else and either despawn or catch fire and burn up. So, fire flower seeds, not so bad. Other seeds, there's better. For now, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 10 flowers right here. And we're going to break these and see how many seeds we get. We should get, assuming they don't replant themselves too quickly, we should get 20 seeds. We got 15, and there's 10 in here. We actually got quite a few more. Interesting. Interesting side note that I should mention, by the way. For some reason, the guy who makes this mod, I think his name is Mine Martin? I might have that wrong. I really shouldn't try to list names when I'm doing this because I just know memory's horrible. Anyway, the guy who makes this decided that if the seeds, when harvested, are picked up by a player, that would have one version of the seed. You can see the :21. The item ID number is 16274 or 16274 :21. This one over here is 16274:5. Okay, the :5 are the ones that I picked up. The :21 are the ones that the vacuum hopper picked up, and I think that's called metadata. I think that's how that's considered. But in any case, the usually is displayed as a damage value, but these don't have the damage bar, obviously. For some reason, he decided to have two different versions of it. I don't really understand why that is, but whatever. The reason I harvested those is to show you one thing about the seeds. And let me grab some bone meal, and I'll explain it a little bit better. Okay, the reason I decided to do this manually is because having to drop seeds to have them plant is really annoying. It's actually very difficult to get to function a specific way. So I'm just going to cover one or two little things about the seeds real quick, and then we will move on to something, anything, please dear God, anything else. So let me break this because otherwise I can't plant any seeds. I'm going to leave these here so I can show you guys exactly what the deal is with this. As you plant the seeds, let's see, here we go. Oh, I've got my magnet on. Magnet off, haha. Huzzah! Alright, so you can see that they plant and they have the basic form. All of the Pneumaticraft seeds look like this when you plant them. Okay, and then as they grow, they pass through different stages. I'm going to grow it quickly because I don't know how to do time lapse in my video editor. Anyway, so we're going to right click the bone meal and you have the basic first partially grown plant. Now you can see that you don't have a percentage grown in the Wayla. When you look at the Wayla, what am I looking at? The bar at the top. When you look at other crops, it tells you what percentage grown they are and when they're mature. If you bone meal it again, it goes to this stage. Now it doesn't always go to these stages. Sometimes you have to bone meal it multiple times. As you can see, that's a fairly fully grown plant. Now if I bone meal it again, it's probably going to go to the overgrown stage. And it did. And you can tell it did because it just spat a seed out all the way over here. Okay? And it has regressed to the previous stage. Okay? So when we bone meal this and it gets to this stage where you can see it's pretty fat and round, that is the stage that you want to harvest it in. Okay? When you harvest it in that stage, you get 2 seeds for the one you've dropped. Okay, you can see that all of these fire flowers are actually, well, you can get 2 to 3 seeds actually. All of these fire flowers are actually in the stage where they should be harvested. If I were to right click on this again, it would go into firing and it would shoot off a seed. But then as you can see, as you can see, it's regressed down to its smaller stage. So you actually want, when they get to this stage where they look kind of round around the edges and have that texture to them, that means that they are ready to harvest, and when they are at that stage, when you break them, you usually get multiple seeds, which is not a good way to show you this because, you know, fire. But as you can see, I got 3 seeds there. We'll break one more. Oh, wait. Nope, sorry. There was... Stupid things replant themselves. How annoying. Alright, so now we have 7 seeds, and with this one being nice and round, we're going to break it. Break it. Thank you. And we went up to 9 seeds, so we actually got extra seeds that way. So you can actually bone meal them fairly effectively, although harvesting them is a pain in the butt. And you can actually get extra seeds this way. That's the way I'm just going to go with it for now because it's so annoying trying to plant and harvest these things automatically. They are really nothing like any of the others. I think it was an intentional design, of course, but intentional design or not, it's still horribly annoying. Like, come here, you stupid seeds. Although it does make you try to think outside the box, as they say. Try to figure out exactly what to do with these things. Alright, that being said, on to the main body of Pneumaticraft. Now, I did actually build this room with a mind to keep all the different seeds planted here. And I did that quite a few episodes back, and then I discovered that I didn't know enough about Pneumaticraft to actually go into it. So this has remained empty, as you might have seen in the last couple of episodes. But now I'm going to go ahead and use this section. Alright, so let's see. The first thing we need to start with Pneumaticraft is to type in Pneumaticraft. Oh, if I could spell. Pneumaticraft. Okay, I obviously can't spell. Alright. Okay, whatever. If you just type in Pneumat, there's nothing else that starts with that name. What am I doing wrong here? Pneumaticc. Okay, there's 2 C's. Well, whatever. Anyway, Pneumaticraft. This is showing us all the different blocks. To start off in Pneumaticraft, because everything in Pneumaticraft requires that you have compressed iron. Okay, compressed iron can be made 2 different ways. The first way, you have to do it this way, because otherwise you can't have it. You need it to be able to you need a pressure chamber to make it the other way, and you can't make a pressure chamber without compressed iron already. So how do you compress iron without a pressure chamber that requires compressed iron to make? Well, the first thing you do is you get some good old-fashioned TNT. Okay, yes, we're going to blow stuff up, because why not? As a matter of fact, I'm going to make more TNT. Just because I have an ungodly large stockpile of things, and I felt like making extra. Alright, so the next thing you want to do is you want to get some iron, okay? I'm going to do this excessively just because I feel like it and there's no reason for me not to. And, you know, if you're starting out the game, you obviously don't want to do this the way I'm going to do it. Mostly because, you know, it's just a pretty bad idea, really. Because you won't have the excessive amount of stuff necessary to do this effectively. But since I have a large amount of excessive stuff, we're going to do it this way. Alright, so now that I have my iron and my Thank you. Now that I have my iron and my explosives, we're going to go somewhere we can blow stuff up without having to worry about it. And what do you know? I happen to have a place just like that. So we're going to go in here. We're going to place this TNT. And no, let's not do that. Let's just do one. I was about to say, it would be really funny if I set off more than one, I'll wind up destroying the iron. So, you know, let's not. Let's turn my magnet. Oops, I had already turned it off. Go figure. Alright, and we're going to go ahead and throw stack after stack after stack after stack of iron out here. Because I just want to make excessive amounts of things. Now, normally you don't want to do this because, you know, you don't have this much iron just laying around. But since I do, I'm going to. Excuse me. And, of course, you explode it. Now, the problem with exploding it is that you actually do destroy a good bit of the iron. I think you lose a third if you were to be technical. Actually, I didn't seem to lose that much at all. I seem to have lost... Oh, whatever. I didn't lose that much. I think you usually lose a third of the stack. So if you were to drop 3 and blow it up... Actually, you know what? Let's test that real quick. Let me go grab 3 pieces of iron and another redstone torch, just because I feel like it. I think it is a third, to be specific. But let's test this really quick just for fun. We're going to get 3 more pieces of iron and another redstone torch. So in theory, I should only get 2 pieces of iron back from this. Okay, there's a partial stack of 38. Okay, so 38. Yep, 40. So yeah, 2/3 changes, 1/3 is lost. So anyway, now we have a whole bunch of compressed iron, and we can go ahead and do some quick crafting of things that require compressed iron. Alright, so let's toss all this stuff into the ME system, and let's type in Pneumaticraft, because nothing else in this entire game starts with PNEU. If you find something in here that doesn't, that shows up, I'll be impressed. Alright, so anyway, the first thing we want to do is, well, we can actually do a couple of things to start out with. We want to make an air compressor. The air compressor requires a pressure tube, and the pressure tube is just simply glass and compressed iron. So we're going to go ahead and make some of these because I know we're going to need a good bunch of them. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make an air compressor, which requires these. I'm going to go ahead and make 3 air compressors because I'm an impatient person and I have excessive amounts of material. I think I've said this before. Alright, so after that, we need something to do with the compressed air. And the compressed, that the air compressor is going to make will make compressed air. So once we make the compressed air, we want to be able to store it somewhere. And that's going to require us to make pressure chambers. Okay, pressure chambers can be built in any number of sizes. Actually, you can pretty much build them any size you want, from my understanding. There's no real purpose or greatness to building them bigger or smaller. So we're just going to go ahead and make this. Let's see. We're going to need a 3x3x3 with a hollow center. So that's going to be 9, 18. It would be 27, but it would be 26 instead. So we're going to go ahead and make 24 of these, and we're going to stop and make one of these glass because we want to be, okay, we're going to make 4 of these glass, whatever. And we want to be able to see the inside of the pressure chamber. So now that we have that built, we can go ahead and go over here and start building ourselves a pressure chamber. Alright, so as I said before, the pressure chamber is going to be the one I'm going to build, okay, it doesn't have to be this way, but I'm going to build it this way. It's going to be a 3 by 3 by 3. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and build this up like this. And this is just to start out. I will build a better chamber when it suits me to do so. But for now, it's just going to be your basic pressure chamber. Oh wow, how did I do that? Okay, that was kind of funny. I somehow glitched through. That was weird. Alright, so actually, you know what? Now that I have this like this, I'm going to go ahead and put this just like this. Oh, whoops. I forgot something. To be able to get air pressure into the pressure chamber, you need a pressure chamber hole. Valve. There we go. And of course, this requires compressed iron. Now, if you understand why I made so much compressed iron, because I knew this was going to be the way it works. You can get rid of that, though. Alright, so the pressure chamber valve is going to allow air pressure to go into the pressure chamber. And we're going to hook that in just like that. See? That's simple. Alright, cool. So now that we have that going, we can go ahead and get the pressure tubes. Okay? Pressure tubes. Let me explain something about these real quick. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to explain something about these real quick because I don't feel like it. I'm just going to show you. Why explain in words when you can show in actions? Alright, so air compressors. We're going to go ahead and hook up 3 of these guys right here. Okay? Now, these can use basically any type of solid fuel. Let's see how much coal I have. We should be able to do it with coal, if I can spell coal correctly. We have 1,900 coal blocks. Yeah, that should do. Let's go ahead and just grab 32 of these. And coal blocks, of course, are going to work 9 times more than normal coal would. Okay, so when you start this thing off, we're going to drop 1 block of coal in here. And as you can see, because 1 block of coal will actually last quite a while, it probably won't burn through the entire block of coal in the whole time that I'm going to show you how this works. As you can see, and here, we now have compressed air. Well, actually, no, we don't. We just have basically a pump that is pumping air, burning coal and pumping air out into nothingness. Okay, so we can hook a tube to it, and that tube is now blocked off. It is going to be building pressure inside of here. Okay, we should be able to see this. Let's take this off of here. We should be able to see this building. Oh, no, it's not. It's not building still because it shows it blocked off, but it's actually just bleeding off into the nothingness. If you look really carefully, you can actually still see the particles right there. So we're going to go ahead and hook another valve here, and now these are hooked together. Now that they're hooked together, there actually is no air being escape. No air being escape. No air being escape. No air being allowed to escape. And now that I've hooked these three together, they are all building pressure. So when we look in here and we click on this pressure, it shows that we have a current pressure of 0.5 bars. Okay, and it is currently generating more pressure. So this pressure will be contained for now because it has nowhere to go. Now, this gauge right here is actually fairly important. Okay, when you're looking at this gauge, it's showing you how much pressure there is, okay, and it's building up. And like typical gauges, the red zone is a bad thing, okay? 5 bars is too much pressure, okay? If I were to allow this to sit here until it reaches 5 bars, the compressor would explode, okay? Or actually, once it reaches 5 bars, it has a percentage chance of exploding. So basically, if the longer it stays in the red, the more it's gonna explode. It's just gonna. Alright, so in order to not have this happen, we're going to go ahead and give this pressure somewhere to go. And that will be through this valve, through the side of this into the actual compressor, the actual pressure chamber. Okay, so now when I hook this to this, it will automatically hook in. And as we see here, the pressure is going down slightly. Okay, this pressure is going down slightly, not because it's going into the pressure chamber. As you can see in there, there's actually pressure building up. It's also going down. Now, it's still generating pressure here, but because air pressure likes to equalize, the pressure that was building up here is now filling these pipes and also filling the pressure chamber itself. When you right-click the pressure chamber itself, it shows you that air pressure is building up in here. Okay, so whatever the air pressure here is, which is currently 1.8 bars, this one is only at 1.7. Now it's at 1.8, and in theory now these will start climbing along with those. Okay. Now the problem is that these each tube has the same threshold as does the chamber. Well, the chamber, yeah, has 5, and these small tubes have 5, and the compressors have 5 as well. So they can only hold so much before they explode. Okay. So we don't want things exploding, and with the block of coal in here, this is going to run for quite a while, okay? So there's a couple of things that we want to do. First off, I'm going to go ahead and break open this pressure chamber. That's going to let all of the pressure out, and you will see it start to decline rather quickly, actually. It won't decline horribly fast because it can only travel so much through these tubes at once, okay? So that is actually keeping it from being a problem. Now, if I were to block this off again, we would see that this is back down at 0, but climbing quickly because it's equalizing out yet again. Okay, so in order to not have this problem, we are going to have to bring NEI back up, and we are going to go ahead and look at a couple of things that will help us understand what's going on. Alright, so basically, where is my little dog gone? Here we go. Nope, that's not it. That's not it. Here we go. The safety valve. Okay, the safety valve, as you can read, it says a tube that will release high-pressure gases, in other words, compressed air, when a certain threshold is reached. Though it prevents overpressure, it can be counted as energy loss. Basically, it'll stop it from exploding, but instead of exploding, it will just vent air out into the atmosphere, like I just did when I broke that tank. Okay. That being the case, we want to have one of these. Now, the question is, how does it know when to vent air instead of exploding? Okay, as you can see here, it says formula equals the threshold, in other words, how many bars of pressure you want, that is equal to 7.5 minus the level of redstone signal that reaches it. Okay, now these things start to explode at 5 bars, so we want it to stop at 4.5. Okay, so at 4.5 bars, if the threshold is 4.5 and 7.5 minus the redstone signal times 0.5, if we were to do that, I believe if I've got this right, a redstone's power of 6 would be required to start venting pressure when it reaches 4.5. So let's try this real quick. We are getting pretty high, so we'll let that keep running while we go make these. Alright, so let's see. No, I can't type. That's because I can't see my keyboard because I forgot to turn my light on. That's okay. Alright, so we are going to go ahead and make the safety valve. Okay, the safety valve is a couple of levers, a pressure tube, and a pressure gauge, and the pressure gauge is just more compressed iron and some gold. So we'll make a couple of these. I know for a fact we're going to use quite a few of these down the road, so I'm going to go ahead and make extras. At least I think, was it that one we're going to use down the road? I don't remember. I don't remember anything. Alright, so here we go, and we've got the extra tubes here. So, and no, we're going to keep these with us. Alright, so the safety valve is going to go right here. I'm going to grab an extra lever, and I'm going to grab some redstone. Okay, so now we're going to go over here, and we're going to install this safety valve right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this. Oh no, I can't break it. I can't install it on a bend, I don't think. Let me see. Will it let me? Yeah, I don't think if I put the tube above that it will work. No, it doesn't. Okay. So we're going to have to install this as a bend, and we will simply do this, this, and this. Alright, cool. So that safety valve will now function if I do this correctly. I've not laid this out before, so we'll have to see how this works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so now if I put this lever here, oh, nope, it's backwards. So it actually starts out at 15 and minuses down to 10. So to make it 6, I'm going to have to extend this a little bit further. So if we are at 10, we're going to go 9, 8, 7, 6. And we should be able to put the lever here, and that will 15, and that means that the redstone signal getting to here is 6. Okay, so now this should be receiving a redstone signal of 6. Okay, if that's the case, when that pipe gets up to, hey, come here, you. When that pipe gets up to 4.5 bars, this should turn itself off. Okay, or, well, I'm sorry, it won't turn itself off because the coal is burning already. The only way to stop these compressors from functioning is going to be to actually break the compressors themselves. But we're actually, coming up pretty quick. That's why I installed 3 compressors, because otherwise it takes forever to do anything. Alright, but anyway, so we are up to 4 bars. We will wait a second and let this get up a little bit further. When it hits 4.5, then we'll be like, yeehaw. Alright, now, actually, while we're talking about this, and while we're waiting for that to build up, let's go ahead and do a couple of little things. Like, for instance, we're going to go ahead and grab some more iron ingots out, because exploding stuff was one way to make this stuff. Well, it turns out that this is the other way. Let's see, how do we want to do this? I should have put this in the floor by 1, just because, but we'll do that with the next version. So we'll be able to jump up here, and now, well, actually, this is going to let a good bit of pressure out, and we're almost there. Let's just wait. Oh, it says 4.6 bars. Why isn't this thing working? You're supposed to be venting. Why aren't you venting? Power of 6. Did I do the math wrong? I didn't think I did the math wrong. I'll bet it's because it's coming at it from this angle instead of the other angle. Uh-oh. Let's see. You guys might get to see this thing explode. Just because. Let's see. Let's try... No, that's not going to work either. Yeah, it's going to explode before I can fix this. There it goes. And why did I jump? I jumped anyway. It's like, I knew it was about to explode, and yet when it did it, I still jumped. Oh, gosh. Okay, let's fix this back. Okay, how much pressure did we lose? Oh, I lost a compressor. Oh, you guys suck. Did I lose it, or... Yeah, it's gone. It blew up. Oh, boy. Fun stuff. Okay, let's try this again. I must be doing this wrong somehow. Maybe it has to actually reach over that way. Okay, so now it's too far away to actually have anything function. How are we looking pressure-wise? Okay, we're getting up there again. So, okay, let's see. This is power of 2, so we need to bring this closer. 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, so in theory now, we should have 6 going there. Yep, redstone power of 6. I wonder if I have to actually lay this to the actual pipe. No? No? Okay, it shows that correctly, so we are currently at 4.4. 4.5, why aren't you working? You have a redstone power of 6. There it goes. Thank God. I was beginning to wonder if I did something horribly wrong. Okay, so we are maintaining a pressure of 4.6 bars. Oh, I hit 4.6 over there, and then it had to regulate over to here. All right, so now we won't explode anymore, thank God. Okay, so good. It turns out that you have to actually run it pointing to it for it to function. Hooray. Okay, so now we won't explode. Okay, but we're also wasting fuel. Okay, now the fuel, again, I can't turn this off unless I were to actually, break these. But that's okay, because we have 4.6 bars. All right, so while we have full pressure, let's go ahead and show you how this is going to work. All right, that's going to let a whole bunch of pressure out, but at the same time, it's going to allow me to toss stuff in. Okay, so now we have stuff in there. Let's do it with this one. All right, so when we toss this in there, as you can see, it's popping. If you look at it, it's popping up and changing from a light gray to a dark gray. Okay, now it's showing here that it requires 2 bars in order for this particular function to happen. Okay, my current pressure is 1.3 bars, and as you see, it's building up. So the system actually knows what is inside it. Right now, it is showing that it is working up to the 2-bar threshold, where it will then start to function, which is kind of funny considering some of the stuff is popping over and other stuff is not. That's kind of funny. All right, oh, there it goes. Yeah, see, now we're starting to pop. See, we're past the threshold, and so it's actually working. Okay, so we can actually put this stuff in there, and it's going to function. It's still popping around in there. I don't think it's all converted, but it's getting close. It's probably because I put so much in at once that it's just being a bit touchy about it. All right, so now that we're doing this, now if it does take too long, remember 5 minutes items despawn. So we now have a pressure gauge. We now have a functioning. We have a pressure tank, a pressure chamber. We now have a functioning relief valve. That way we won't accidentally explode things. And we now have air compressors that are actually about to run out of stuff. Now, I think it's each time that it converts something over, it actually takes some of the pressure away. I think this is, yeah, I'm fairly certain this is all still converting stuff. It may be because it's doing one process per X amount of ticks. I don't know what those ticks are, but X amount of ticks is doing these processes, and therefore it is slowly converting these things over. Now, normally you wouldn't toss 3 stacks of iron in here at the same time, so I mean I understand that it's not all going to change all at the same time. So, but for now, let's go ahead and open this sucker up and see how much is converted just because, and we'll go ahead and close this back off so it can go ahead and not be losing excess pressure. Wow, that dropped really quickly. Okay, still gotta regulate. Well, yeah, of course I opened the side of the wall and it all dropped immediately, but now it's going to regulate out with what's already here. And as you can see, we were almost done. I have 4 ingots left. That's kind of funny. So close, yet so far. Okay, so now, actually, we're about done with the episode. This actually went by a lot quicker than I expected. Next episode, we're going to cover some more Pneumaticraft stuff. We're going to regulate the compressors. We want them to turn on and off at my whim, if you will. And we're going to work a way to do that. And I already have a decent idea of how I'm going to do it. And we're also going to show you how to change different things into different Pneumaticraft stuff so that we will be able to continue to develop our Pneumaticraft gear. As you can see, there's quite a few things here that can be made, and we're going to start learning how to make all of them, because reasons. Alright, so until next time, this is Jeronitis signing off on episode 109, and like me if you like me, subscribe if you want to see what craziness I get into next, and of course check out my other series. They're actually not that bad. They're not that great, but not that bad. Either way, check them out. You might like something. And as always, help spread the gaming.